Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. I'm joined here with my partner in crime, Sam Schneider of Primetime Sports Talk. And this is, I cannot believe I'm saying it, this is the Super Bowl preview edition of
The
Jungle
what?
Talk. The Super Bowl preview
What?
edition.
Let's go.
Super Bowl.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's absolutely surreal. This Sunday, we're recording this on Wednesday, by the way. So just to put a time perspective on it, but this Sunday, the Bengals are here in Los Angeles. They landed yesterday, and the Super Bowl is this Sunday. It's just it's mind blowing.
It's overwhelming. Like I feel like every day there's something new that I'm like, what? That's impossible.
It is mind blowing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, and I'm going to be there, which is to me, I've never been to.
Yes.
I've the highest rate, the highest up the tier games I've been to. I was at the Raiders Seattle championship game when the Raiders won the Super Bowl. I think it was 83 against the Redskins. I was at every game that season, including the playoff games. I was there the following year when we lost and the Patriots, ended up losing to the Bears. But I've never, Super Bowl, and the fact that it's the Bengals. I've never been to a Bengals postseason game. So this is just mind blowing. But
yeah, I'm super jealous, Mark. I got to say right off the bat, I've had this debate with a buddy of mine so many times. When we were starting Bengals West in Los Angeles, his question to me was always, if we made the Super Bowl, would you want to be here with Bengals West? Would you want to be at the Super Bowl? We weren't even talking about LA. Would you want to be at the Super Bowl, let's say Miami, or would you want to be in Cincinnati? And I was like, I can't answer that. I have no idea. And still now I'm in Cincinnati and I'm glad to be here. But I go through moments where I'm like, I wish I was at the game. I go through moments where I was like, I wish I was with Bengals West. It's amazing. But kudos to you for going to the game, man. I'm super jealous.
They're not great seats, but they're in the stadium. I'm on the top deck, but I'm only the seventh row. So
it's next to Jesus, pretty much up there.
So yeah, but you know what? I'm in the stadium, and if anybody who's been to SoFi or seen SoFi, they have this 120-yard infinity loop, but it's got inner screens and outer screens, and it can be seen from anywhere on the stadium. I've tweeted up pictures of it. You can look on my Twitter feed. It's going to be insane.
It's not unlike what they have in Dallas, where Dallas was the first one to have that.
That was only 80 yards.
Yeah, that giant screen in the middle. But yeah, SoFi put the full circle in there. It's
well, cool. That screen alone. I did a tour for those of you who went to my Facebook page when I visited Whitworth's locker, and that screen alone was $1 billion. $1 billion. So
yeah,
and it's 120 yards. It's got, so if you're below it, you look in the inner loop. If you're outside of it, you look in the outer loop, but it's visible from any seat in the stadium. So
basically I could have bought that screen, but I mean, like, just barely. I would only had a couple bucks left afterwards.
You would have had you couldn't have afforded one pixel of that screen.
Yeah, I could have bought that screen, but I would have been getting real close to broke afterwards.
There you go. So we'll go in. Well, you talked about Bengals West. That was one of my news items. So you did some interviews this week. There were some people that commented that they saw you. I put on my Twitter feed and on a bunch of Facebook pages and on the LA Bengal fan Facebook page one of the stories from Bengals West that you were interviewed in. Todd was interviewed in. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about what's going on this week?
Yeah, it's really cool. And I'll say what I said in some of those interviews, and I'll try to make it quick, guys. It's really surreal to have moved back to Cincinnati after being in Los Angeles for 16, 17 years. I moved back to Cincinnati before this season. And it's surreal that this thing that I started in 2009 is all of a sudden just completely blowing up in Los Angeles. And for those of you that are, tuning in late and haven't watched us before, this is how Mark and I know each other. I mean, we got together on this. He came out to a game or two, and then we traveled with the rest of the crew in a bus down to San Diego and got to know each other. That's how we know each other.
Yeah.
But I digress. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's nuts. I'm answering, 40 direct messages a day. I've got local Cincinnati stations tuning in and calling me to do interviews. And Todd, who I handed the keys off of when I moved back to Cincinnati, he's helped me for 13 of those years. And I was like, here, it's yours, your truck. He's been amazing. He's done an amazing job in all of his interviews. It's just really cool to see a Los Angeles Bengals group do so well. And, our bar that we go to, the capacity is like 300 people.
Yeah.
We had to add 4 more bars.
Right. No, there's going to be well over, I said this in the last video, there could be well over 1,000 people in the Eagle Rock area. Colorado Boulevard, it's going to be packed with Bengal fans. And so if you're not at the game, and you obviously Bengal Jim's throwing a big pep rally downtown Saturday night. But if you're not able to go to the game, just go into the Eagle Rock area, you're going to be surrounded by a lot of Bengal jerseys. You will feel right at home in Los Angeles in a Bengal jersey in Eagle Rock, at the time of the game. So
100%. And I hate to cut you off, Mark, but so for people that don't know Bengals West, you can find it at Bengals West on any platform, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And he mentioned Bengal Jim's tailgate, which sold out almost 900 tickets in 5 hours. Because for those of you that don't know Bengal Jim, he has a tailgate situation in Cincinnati that is legendary. It's like you haven't even been to a Bengals game in Cincy unless you've gone and hang out with Jim. He is the 2021 to 22 fan of the year. He's a great guy. He really, really is. And so this tailgate sold out quick. And Mark, can I do this right now?
Yeah, go ahead and do it now.
All right. So it sold out very fast. I have 2 tickets to the tailgate that Jim is throwing in Los Angeles. It is not to be missed. All you guys have to do, retweet this video, follow Mark or myself. Mark is at LA Bengals fan. I am at Buy and Sell You on Twitter. Retweet or repost this on Facebook. And I'm just gonna pick somebody out of a hat. If you do it on Facebook, make it public so that we know you did it. But we really want to see somebody go on the Bengals West page and say, hey, I retweeted your thing. We have a whole community tab. Everybody can post stuff. Hey, I retweeted.
Actually,
hey, I reposted.
Let's do this. Do all that, but you're going to pick the person. The final step is go on the Bengals West Facebook page and post that you retweeted it. And then you're going to go down that list of people. That way, Sam only has to check. I'm going to make your job easier. You only have to check one place.
God, you're so good to me.
And not only, it's the one place where you're going to announce the winner. So you need to be liking the page and going there anyway, because if you're going to find out if you won, you're going to post it on a Friday morning post, or you typically do on Bengals West. So that's what it'll do. So you have to complete the process. You have to go to the Bengals West page and post that you did it. And Sam will go to the Bengals West page, pick up everybody, and pull a name and announce the winner because he's got the ticket.
Do you guys see out there why I keep Mark around? He's so much smarter than me and so much more concise than I am, and he's nailed it. So
that's why my name's on the channel.
I'll be looking for you guys. And seriously, it's only 2 tickets. But you're talking 2 out of 750, 800, 900 people. This is the place to be. It'll be great.
All right. Well, let's jump into some news. And then
Let's do it.
And then we're going to do what we usually do: talk about what we're not feeling good about, what we're feeling good about. We'll talk about some Bengal prop bets, and then we will do our predictions. So the news is really light. The injury report has basically been, I mean, Carmen hasn't practiced, but he was a full practice Wednesday, Thursday last week. Didn't practice Friday. I'm not that concerned about that. Hendrickson has been full practice Thursday, Friday last week, so he's full go. Uzama has not practiced, but we all saw that brace getting thrown out in the middle of the field. We all know that he was working out on the sidelines.
I'm sure everybody. I hope.
Right, Sam's internet's acting up, but we saw Uzama toss the.
I hope everybody has seen that.
Okay, we lost you for a second there, but we all saw Uzama.
Yeah, I'm back. I hope everybody saw the
brace getting tossed. And he was doing some resistance running on the sidelines, some high kicks. He was training. So has said that there's no way he's missing this game. You know, I'm just assuming, even if he's just out there for some plays as a decoy to pull people away, he's playing. I'm figuring Higbee's going to play. Those are the two big injuries, are Higbee for the Rams and CJ, because those happened in the last game. It's ironic. Both teams lost their tight ends in those games, but that's the big injury news. We don't know. There's been no practices yet this week, so we'll see how things progress. And they're going to keep their cards close to the vest. They'll probably announce CJ and McVay will announce Higbee as game time decisions. That wouldn't surprise me. And we'll know on Sunday morning, you know, what's going on. The other thing,
I think, if I may, I think. You know, I don't think what CJ was saying was baloney. I don't see any reason why he'd be willing to miss this game. And like you said, it could be a decoy. I doubt that very much. And I mean, frankly, when you're talking about a tight end, I don't really know how much of a decoy you can really be. But I think Uzama's going to play.
Well, I think
he's the heart and soul of this team.
Neither guy has to be ready for a game the following week. So you have all offseason to get better. I think that they both go out and try to make it. But like I said, there'll be some gamesmanship by both coaches, and I think there'll be game time decisions.
Well, I think the irony, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think the irony is that they have the same injury.
Right,
Higbee and Uzama. They have the exact same injury. And it's the same thing. Like you said, Higbee hasn't practiced, but the difference is, and you know, there's a matter of gamesmanship in when you're reporting injuries. You don't usually say, if you think the guy's maybe gonna go, you want to keep it a secret. And in the Bengals camp, they're saying, well, we think Uzama could play. We think he can. We think he can. In the Rams camp, they're like, yeah, it's not happening.
Well, we'll see. I still think they're both going to be announced on Thursday or Friday's game time decisions, and we'll know. And
I think
maybe
so
that
too,
Higbee scratch and Uzama plays, but we're going to see.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the text, you know, we talked about earlier videos that Bates shot a text to Geno Atkins when Ojinobi got hurt, and that Geno didn't respond. It turns out that and you had said you didn't think the team was even thinking about that. Whatever. It actually turns out that the Bengals were open to Geno re-getting him back as depth. But Geno's been hurt. That's why he hasn't played for anybody else. So it was an issue. We said he had to be in game shape. Clearly he's not if he's got an injury. So that's why.
Right. Well, and that was, I mean, to be honest, that's kind of what I was saying when I said, I don't think we're actually interested in him. I think they're like, you're not in game shape.
Well, no, if he had been in game shape and he wasn't injured, they would have considered it. It wasn't something the team has said that they considered it. So.
What was his injury though?
So I don't remember. I read it, and he's been, like I said, this is why he hasn't wound up on another team.
Stomach, probably.
Well, The last bit of news before because I want to get into the game, was
Sure.
that Gronk said that one of the quarterbacks he would consider playing for is Joe Burrow. So who knows if actually, but it's nice to, that's the magic of Joe. I mean, you have all these other people. I heard commentators today say, my knees couldn't take it, but if they could, I'd want to play with Joe too. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's just who he is and how he's going to make it so much easier to get free agents to come to the Bengals. So,
yeah, I think if I could speak on that real quick, I don't know even if Gronk said it was one of the quarterbacks. I think the quote was, if not with Tom Brady, then I would love to play with Joe Burrow.
Right.
Like, it was like the quarterback he mentioned. Here's the thing, though. Gronk retired while he was still with Tom Brady. And then Brady talked him back into it in Tampa Bay. I don't think this is much to do about nothing.
Yeah, I agree. It was in the news, so I wanted to throw it out there. It's my last.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying it. I'm just throwing it out there in the atmosphere.
Well, I actually heard Tom Brady could unretire. He compared himself to Michael Jordan. Well, didn't Michael Jordan retire and then come back and play for the Wizards? So we could see Brady back in football. He hasn't ruled that out. He didn't poo-poo it. He just said he wanted to go out on top like Jordan did, but then Jordan came back. So we could see Tom come back. He hasn't ruled out anything for the right situation.
I think I know. Tom, once Tom says he's done, he's done.
Well, the future will tell. So let's get into what we're not feeling good about. I'm going to throw a few things out there. I mean, obviously they have a good offensive line. They've got Andrew Whitworth, which is nice that will be playing with him. He's had some complimentary things to say. We covered that in the last video.
Sure.
They have a great defensive line, but I do not think they have as good a defensive line as Tennessee, but they do have a great defensive line. You've got Von Miller, you got Aaron Donald. Obviously I worry about both of those, especially with the right side of our line. And then obviously they have Cooper Kupp, he's their Tyreek Hill. I have him in fantasy. The guy's unbelievable. We're going to have to mitigate him, much like we did Tyreek Hill, except that he's going to have probably 8 catches for 120 yards if he has a bad day. So obviously he concerns me, but we've got the secondary to deal with it. And obviously OBJ is playing with a chip on his shoulder and playing against us. So those are the things that I have that I'm not feeling. And the right side of our line, I mentioned, obviously that's the first thing we're going to fix in the offseason, but we have one more game to play. So that's what I have on the bad things. Is there anything else that concerns you?
Well, I'll just add to that. I don't think Tyreek Hill can even touch Cooper Kupp. Not even same category, not even same stratosphere. Tyreek Hill is a cheetah. He runs down the field, catches the deep ball great. They move him around. He gets a nice slot pass every now and again. He is not consistent like Cooper Kupp is. Cooper Kupp arguably should be the MVP of the NFL this year. I mean, otherwise, who are you talking about? Aaron Rodgers? Obviously, it's going to go to a quarterback. But Cooper Kupp is Offensive Player of the Year if he doesn't win MVP.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about a guy that led 145 catches, 1947 yards, almost 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 114 yards per game without even blinking.
And you missed a big one. He had nearly 200 targets. He was nearly
376. Regardless, it's just, I mean, that is not Tyreek Hill can't even touch that.
Right.
He can't even get in the same area as that.
He's a different kind of receiver, but like I said, he's the guy we have to mitigate. Every team has something that you go into the game, you say, okay, if I'm going to get beat, it's not by this guy. That's what we have to do with Cooper Kupp, because he'll catch that little hitch pattern. Listen, if they're going for it with 5 seconds left, right at the end of the second quarter, they go in the corner to Cooper Kupp. They don't throw it to Tyreek Hill to get tackled. That ball's in the end zone in the corner, and we've watched that play before. Against Tampa Bay, we saw one where they snuck one into Kupp. So he's their guy. He concerns me. I said, we're not going to stop him. I just want to mitigate him.
Yeah, I guess all I'm saying is, at least with Tyreek Hill, what you're trying to do is stop the deep ball. He doesn't get a whole lot of slot passes. He gets plenty. Not unlike Keenan Allen in
San Diego.
almost did.
Always
I
be the
almost
Chargers.
did
I
it
don't care if
just-
they San
I
Diego.
almost did it just like you
I do
did.
it all the time. I accept it. I don't
Not
care.
unlike Keenan Allen in Los Angeles. Hill still got those, but primarily he's a deep ball guy. So we're talking Jamar Chase is very Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Cooper Kupp is not. This in this game, Mike Hilton has got to be on it. And
Right.
I know that he's been arguably one of the best slot DBs this year. He's going to have his hands full. And more importantly, those safeties, Bell and Bates, they got to be able to come up and make that tackle on Kupp after he makes the thing. After he makes the catch, I don't think that Kupp is going to ruin us from the top. But if Cincinnati gets a lead, we know where the ball is going. It's going to Kupp over and over and over and over again. Hilton's going to have a long game. So are the safeties.
Right. Which is, we'll get into the prop bets, which is one of the reasons why I have an MVP dollar at 100-1 on Von Bell, Jesse Bates, and Mike Hilton. They were all 100-1 bets, and they're all, if they do what would lead us to win the game, could very easily be MVP. We will get to that a little later. So, well, that's all I've got in terms of, I want to get to kind of the good stuff for us. Are we ready to move on to the positive?
Yeah, I Kupp scares me the most. Obviously, I want, you got to mention Jalen Ramsey, but we're not telling anybody anything that they don't already know. Jalen Ramsey is going to be there. He lines up on the same side as Chase. He's probably going to be on Chase. We can talk about momentarily opportunities that allows for other people.
Right.
But yeah, Kupp obviously scares me. Stafford finally getting a shot. That scares me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I believe he's going to do it. But this is an interesting Super Bowl because we're getting two guys that I think most of the country would like to see win. I think most of the country is like, yeah, I could dig Joe Burrow. Yeah, I like Matt Stafford. Like, I could root for either one of those guys.
Right. Well, you have, it's the second time in Super Bowl history we've had two number one overall picks play each other. The first time was Peyton Manning against Cam Newton. But this one, we have two people that got there just so different. I mean, one's late in his career on his second team, and the other one's second year guy on his first team. It's just, they're different energies. It's the whole thing, but I don't sweat Stafford that much. So this is going to transition right into the good. I think we can get some interceptions from Stafford. I think he gets rattled. I don't think he responds in pressure as good as Burrow. I mean, if you take either quarterback, I would take Burrow without hesitation, just based on what we've seen in the postseason, what we've seen. The Rams have been very inconsistent all year. So, they played well. They've got to where they got to. But I like I said, I really like our chances this game. I think we can get fumbles out of Akers, and I think we can expose the secondary. Jalen Ramsey gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar a lot. I mean, he makes some great plays, but if you watch some of those Niner games, he gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. I think we can use that against him. I think right now, Zach and Lou have a plan for Ramsey, and I think Zach and Lou have a plan for Stafford. I really do. So those are things I think are positives. Stafford will always, he's thrown a lot of red zone interceptions. He did in the Niner game. They weren't winning at half because he got picked off in the red zone again on the first drive they made into the red zone. So I really think that if we can get to him, we can rattle him a little bit. I think there's a turnover. And that's one of the prop bets I bet also was that Stafford would throw the first interception in this game.
The gambling show, guys.
I understand that. I'm just telling you that's what I'm saying I believe in because I put my money behind it.
Right.
I don't just tell
Um,
you I think Stafford's prone to an interception. I put money that he throws the first interception in this game.
well, I mean, I've watched Matt Stafford, so I agree with you. He is primed for an interception. I mean, you're not a genius for that. Like, that's
I'm
just
not.
kind of the way it is. That's like saying Ryan Tannehill might throw a pick. All right,
Well, no,
great.
I tell you, I think we
Way to
get
go
to
out
him.
on a limb.
It's one of the
Uh,
positives. We're talking about the positives here. That's one
I
of the
agree.
positives I see. So
I agree. I just Matt Stafford has been maybe the only quarterback better than Joe Burrow in the fourth quarter this season. Matt Stafford has absolutely crushed it. Look up his stats. I don't have them in front of me. I apologize. I mean, I can look them up right now, but Matt Stafford has come from behind victories with no interceptions in the fourth. He is not. All right. Here's the thing. This is going to sound like a bad thing. I know we're supposed to move on to the good. I just feel like there's a whole lot of the Raiders. We should have beat the Raiders, but there was a stigma that we hadn't won a playoff game in so long. So we beat that. Cool. Then we play the number one seed. They got 9 sacks on us. And we came back and won, 1913, 1916?
1960.
Won that close game that was ugly, nasty, low scoring. With the Chiefs, it followed the same game script, just like I said in our preview. Same game script. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. Chiefs jumped out to a big lead. We had to come back, but we got Joe Burrow, which is great. So we did that. Here's the thing. In Cincinnati, Ohio, no one's watching the Rams. No one ever does. They're either so happy about their win or so devastated about their loss that they're not watching a 4 p.m. game. So there's all of a sudden I'm seeing we had chip on our shoulder, chip on our shoulder, chip on the shoulder. And I guess maybe this is a good thing. We had chip on our shoulder, rooting for the Bengals to be the underdog or whatever. And all of a sudden now everybody's like, the Rams? And I'm like, dude, don't discount these guys.
Well, that's only happening in Cincinnati because I haven't heard anybody, and the betting line says otherwise. Yeah,
but you
betting
live in
line,
Los Angeles,
right? But the betting line is national. The betting line has the Rams as a 4.5 point favorite or a 3.5 point favorite. So the betting line's not. Nobody is thinking that.
Well, they get 3 for being at home. So they're a 1.5 point favorite.
So like I said, I don't see anybody dismissing the. Like I said, that might be something that's local in Ohio or people because they haven't watched them, but nationally, and the betting line doesn't say that.
All right. Well, apparently you're not reading stuff online that I'm reading.
Well,
because all of a sudden Bengals fans everywhere are like, "Holy shit, the Rams, we'll kill them. We'll beat the Chiefs."
Like I said, I don't subscribe to any of that. We're going into this as, like I said, a 3.5 to 4.5 point underdog. So the bettors don't think that. And but I do believe we win this game. But we'll get into that. So
well, this is Mark. This is not an argument between us. Right. This is healthy discussion.
Yeah.
I just urge everybody out there to if there are any people that are falling into the camp that I'm describing, stop thinking that the Rams are not good. This is the Super Bowl. They made it. They beat good teams to get here. Stop thinking that the Rams are not as good as the Titans and the Chiefs. They are. I mean, the NFC is a good conference, and the Rams have earned their way in. And Stafford is playing out of his mind. And Cam Akers, who you mentioned, he put two on the ground in that game you're talking about. He put 2 balls on the ground, and that was, he should have lost them in that game. I agree with you 100%. Right. But he also, before that point, I think he was running for like 6.5 yards a carry.
Oh no,
I
he's
mean,
got a burst. It's
the guy is unreal.
yeah. So all right, well let's before we do our predictions, I just want to touch
Okay.
on some there's some great prop bets. So if you guys want to spread out some money, I'm looking at the 100-to-1s. You got Von Bell, you've got Samaje Perine, there's so many. Throw $10 down, $1 on each. It's $100.
It's so much fun.
And
It's
you've
so
got
much
that.
fun.
And like I said, I backed up what I said. I do like Hilton, Bell, and Bates. I think if they might have a big role. So I got them. The
Would you put like $10 on each one of those or what?
what's that? No, on the well, you know what? You could tweet
On
out.
the MVP ones.
Yeah, I tweeted it out. So you could see I spread $10 out on a bunch of $1-to-1 guys. And then I have, I put, I put, $10 on Jamar Chase, $5 on Mixon. You just kind of spread out the money. The bets I really like, the longest field goal by any kicker is over 47.5. I think we take a 50-yard shot with McPherson. So I really like the longest field goal over 47.
100%.
The most popular bet, according to two different articles I read, is that Shooter or Money Mac or whatever you want to call him, his over under on field goals is 1.5. That bet was so nice, they took it off my site. I can't even bet it. It's gone. The total points of 7.5, which would have been 2 field goals and 3 touchdowns, 3 extra points, that now is gone. It's not even available to me. And they took away the 1.5. So that was a real popular bet. I don't know if you can still get it, or it just might be my site. The other thing is you can do the two events. So you can say this team's leading at half, this team wins. So I took the Rams leading at half, Bengals win the game. That's 6-1. We've been trailing at half a lot of times. So I like that. So kind of take a look at the props. There's some stuff that's interesting there. That's not crazy. Makes the game more interesting.
I like that too. And you took a couple of mine, especially the kicking ones that I agree with completely. I also would, even as a Bengals fan, and you have to hear me out because I think this is actually a Bengals bet. I think Cooper Kupp right now is over 105.5 yards receiving. I would take that over. It's touch and go because Hilton's been so good this year and he's going to be on Kupp a lot. And Hilton usually, if he knows he's beat, is going to grab a dude. He's going to hold him, or he's going to commit pass interference and take the 10 to 12 yards rather than give up a potential touchdown. I get that. But, all it takes is Kupp, who is probably going to be offensive player of the year. All it's going to take is him getting one 40-yard pass in the first half. And you're like, oh, and all he has to get is 105. And this is why it's a Bengals bet. It's because when the Rams are trailing and they have to abandon the run, we know where the ball is going. It's going to Cooper Kupp over and over and over again. I don't know what his catch prop is. I'm going to say off the top of my head, probably 8.5.
Probably something like that.
I would take that too. I'd put Coop at 10 for, I don't know, 160. I would take both. I would take, 8.5 or over 8.5, over 140. I'd take both of those.
Okay.
I agree with the kicking things. I also would urge anybody that likes to bet on prop bets, because this is one of my favorites. And if you're in any of the squares games, where you don't know your numbers, and then all of a sudden your number comes up and you've got like 5 and 9, and you're like, well, I guess I got to root for a safety. Put $10 on a safety. The payout is usually enormous. And if you win it, you can put $10 on it and win like $140 for no apparent reason. So, throw some money on those. But I like the ones that you picked, and I'm with you, especially on the kicking props.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with our predictions. All right, so we're back and we're going to do our predictions now. I didn't want to be rushed because I had to go shake the weasel and rush through my prediction. I didn't want to do that. So that's why I hit the pause button and go take care of business. These things go right through me, you know? So
listen, we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, it is
we are
what it
here
is.
for
So,
the people. That does not, however, mean that we're wearing diapers.
no, I'm not. If I was wearing a diaper, I just would have gone and we would have finished the show. So,
right.
All right. So here we are.
My pick is.
Yeah. So now, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You know what? I feel like, Mark, that I have gone first for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. So unless you're adverse to it, I'll
go first. But I remember you saying I always go first. So you go first, and then you were mad because I took your prediction. But that's my last recollection.
Well, let's see if you do it again. I will go first. Here.
Okay. I think this is what I think. I think we get pressure on Stafford. I think we have enough game footage just from the 2 Ram games this year against the Niners for us to go back and see what Shanahan does that drives the Rams crazy. I think we can mitigate Kupp. I think just like we did with Hill and Kelsey, I think we can mitigate him. And I think that Tennessee has a better defense. I think KC has a better offense, and we beat both of them. So I don't see any reason why we can't win this game. I think we're a team of destiny. It's the year of the Tiger. It's 40 years since our first Super Bowl appearance. I mean, there's so many things you can draw on. And I said in the last video that I know those aren't football related and they have no bearing on things, but I just still think it's all part of that. This is our year. I always think that I always give you analogies, and you always say I do crazy analogies. So I think we took the monkey. We had monkeys on our back when we got into the postseason. We threw off a monkey when we beat the Raiders and won our thing. Then we went into Tennessee, won our first road game, and we threw another monkey off. Then it was like, hey, and I didn't even think we could do it. I didn't think we were going to go beat Kansas City 2 times in 4 weeks. But you know what? We did it. So I think that proverbial monkey, and I don't want PETA protesting this comment, but we've already thrown them off our backs. I think it's a woodshed moment for that monkey outside SoFi. I think we go back and that monkey is gone forever. And I think we win this game. I think that somebody outside of Chase and Mixon and those guys have a really big day. I think it could be T. I think it could be Boyd. I think it could be somebody on the defense. You can take a look at my Twitter feed, see all the MVP long shots. I really like a defensive guy. I'm wearing 24, channeling our defense. This is a Delta O'Neal jersey, but isn't that Mike Hilton's number? I'm wearing that. I really think
I believe that's Von Bell.
But I'm channeling our defense. I truly think that this is our year. I've got us down. I think it's going to be a closer game, and I think it's going to be a little lower scoring. I've got us down 27-20. I think we win this game. I think I get to celebrate the game at here, and you get to go to the parade next week. That's what I think.
There you go. Pat. Wow.
You wanted me to go first. That's why I went to shake the weasel. I did not want to rush through that. I had it all set up. You were going to get the full prediction. It's the Super Bowl show.
You to shake the weasel the whole time.
Okay, so there we go. Now I can take a sip. What's your prediction?
Well, I certainly cannot match the same energy that Mark just had. But I do like his prediction. What'd you say? 27-20?
That's what I said.
I love it. I love it. I love the fact that you're picking us. And this year I've had such a hard time picking us. Maybe it's the Cincinnati in me. I don't know. But I'm gonna pick us again. And I'm with you on, I think other people are going to step up. I think it's going to be T. Higgins this week. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to be all over Chase. I still think, by the way, everybody is saying Chase is not going to have a good game. I think that's baloney. I don't think people realize that Chase is as good as he is, and he's a rookie. He's still going to get his. but he's going to take Ramsey away,
Mhm.
and Higgins is going to get some. And frankly, Boyd's going to get some
Mhm.
underneath if they try to put Ramsey on Chase and double Higgins over the top with the safety. So Boyd might actually have a good day. I'm with you. I don't know who is going to step up. I suspect it could be Joe Mixon. You know, everybody talks about this defensive line for the Rams, and it is good. But um, every time we've played against a defensive line that is, you know, really, really talented, Joe Mixon has done well because they're dropping so many people back in coverage that if he's able to get through that line, then he's got, you know, 7 or 8 yards, excuse me, 7 or 8 yards to go. So I'm with you again. At this point, you know, I don't know that I ever believe in the whole team of destiny idea, but man, I'll tell you what, if you don't believe in Joe Burrow right now, and then you're not a Bengals fan.
Mm.
You know, I'm really sorry. At this point, you got to believe in them. Even if we were to lose this game, it's a successful season.
Oh yeah. Well, that
Uh,
goes without saying. It was a successful season after the Raider game.
yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah, we're playing
we're
with
way
house money
ahead
right
of
now, which has got
we're
this team loose.
we're way ahead of where we should be. We have watched this really young team. How old are they, Mark?
They're the fourth youngest team in the league.
Fourth
That's what I've
youngest team
heard.
in the
Yeah.
league. I say it every week. Fourth youngest team in the league. We have watched the maturation of this team.
Yes.
And it's astounding. They have gone from we're going to prove everybody wrong to why not us to it is us to walking into SoFi right now saying we're going to win this game. And that is just a really fun thing to watch. You're watching history right now.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
it's really, really good, especially with the ages of these guys. So I'm sorry to ramble on, but
And your
my
score
pick,
is
Bengals 30, Rams 24. I don't
okay.
think we can shut down Stafford. I think Akers has a decent game, but I think Stafford, even though I agree with you, he'll turn over the ball 1 or 2 times. He's going to try to bring them back. But I think for the first time, the Bengals are going to be playing with a lead for a lot of this game.
That would be awesome. Joe Burrow tweeted or commented today that they want to get out early in this game, and they were able to do so in a couple of the games we did in Tennessee and we did against the Raiders, but it wasn't a huge insurmountable lead.
Right.
But we'll see. I do think that I got confidence in Lou and Zach. I think they can go back and watch, you know, because the Niners are one of those teams that's 6 in a row. There's a reason. What did they do? And I think we're going to be able to disrupt and confuse Stafford. If we were able to, I think that we were able to confuse Mahomes and Reed. I think we're able
Yeah.
to do that. So I don't see any reason why they don't have a plan set up. And like I said, this team realizes they're playing with house money. So this is they were talking today. Stephen A. Smith was arguing with somebody about who has more pressure on them, McVay or Stafford. Nobody's talking about the pressure. There's no pressure on the Bengals.
No, none.
We're here.
There's none.
We're here a year early. You know what? No reason.
Hey.
No, he's like, now, obviously, this would be the third time that a quarterback has won the national championship and won a Super Bowl. Ironically, the other two people who have done that are both named Joe Montana, right? And Joe Namath. This would be, if Burrow wins this, he becomes the first person ever to do both of those things and win the Heisman. Get the hat trick. So, you know,
That's
like
right.
I said, I think I'm celebrating this here at the game on Sunday, and you will get to go to the parade next week, and you will brave the cold and go to the parade.
100%. And I wanna piggyback real quick, and I'll make it fast on the last things you said. You know, we talked earlier about the number of Bengals fans that have not watched the Rams, so they think the Rams aren't that good, and they're wrong. But there's a lot of the country that haven't watched the Bengals, and it was either John Sheeran or James Rapian, I think it was Sheeran, that said, it's like nobody's watched this Bengals defense. It's like nobody is giving the Bengals defense a chance. And the Bengals defense is really good. I mean, we're coming up with turnovers at the right time. We're coming up with sacks at the right time. We've got guys that are thirsty. And I think that's going to be the difference in this game. I honestly think the Rams are going to be trying to come back. They're going to be driving for, a touchdown that could either tie or win the game. And once again, it's going to come down to Bell or Bates or Hendrickson or
Pratt or Wilson or any of them. Yes.
How awesome is it to be able to name those guys off as a Bengals fan? It's amazing.
No, well, it's ironic that you say it, because in closing, one of the Frank Pollock's quote this week, and I still say this, I know we had a great free agent class, but our most important signing was Pollock. And Absolutely. he said, I know we have issues in our line, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, our line plays when it matters. The right side comes through when it matters. They buy Burrow that second when it matters. It's timely play. And the defense does that all the time. And I really, like I said, I've got this feeling I'm going to be a happy camper leaving SoFi I'll be staying at SoFi for the trophy celebration as Burrow. We all saw him holding the Lamar Hunt trophy. Well, we're going to upgrade that to the Lombardi on Sunday. So that's
both sides of the line. I think obviously they need, if you're going to win the Super Bowl, both sides of the line need to show up. For everybody watching, please check out at Bengals West on every platform, particularly those of you that are in Los Angeles and want to go to the Bengal Gym tailgate, which is not to be missed. It's sold out, but I got 2 tickets. Please follow Mark on Twitter at LA Bengals Fan. You can follow me on Twitter at Buy and Sell You, all one word. I write for Primetime Sports Talk. If you get a chance, drop by right after the Super Bowl. I'll have a couple good articles for you. And thanks for watching. And I'll tell you what, at this point, let's just let it all hang out, right, Mark?
It. Yeah. And we'll probably, any recap video
Sunday, baby.
Any recap video is going to go out on the following day. So, I have a trial starting that Monday, but hopefully we can get something scheduled for that day. And I'll be at the game. I will record as much as possible, put it on the Bengal Facebook page or the LA Bengal Fan Facebook page. But I want to be in the moment as well. So all that will go up afterwards. And if you can't, like Sam said, go to Cincinnati. I have a friend, Heath mentioned in the video last week, that he had a friend that can't come to Los Angeles and decided, I'm going to go see relatives. He's in Arizona. He says, I'm going to go see relatives. I'd rather be in Cincinnati. So he's taken I'll be in Cincinnati for the parade, the parade celebration. So there's lots of different ways to celebrate.
Just be around. It'd be awesome to be in LA. It'd be awesome to be at Bengals West, but it'd be awesome to be in the city when this happens, as we all hope it will.
Yeah, so you'll be there for the parade. So please subscribe. If you don't subscribe, it's all we ask. And with that, I'm going to say, hoo day, everybody.
Hoo day, baby.
Let's go win the Super Bowl Sunday.
Let's win the Super Bowl.
Hoo day.